All right, good evening. It is 6 o'clock.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, 6 o'clock p.m. We will begin our public comment session for February 15th, 2022. I received word that there may be a number of individuals wishing to speak during general public comment on agenda item number 5. Therefore, I would like to waive Rule 110 of the Council Rules and Procedures to allow comment on this item during general public comment. Is there a motion to waive Rule 10?
I'm making a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, please say no. Thank you very much, and we will begin public comment. Just a reminder, City Hall is closed due to the mayor's concerns in regards to COVID-19, so you can participate with public comment through Zoom or by calling in. You will need to raise your hand to be acknowledged, and then you will need to unmute yourself. If you're on Zoom, you will need to use your raise hand function. Then once acknowledged, please unmute yourself. If you are calling in, you will need to press *9 to raise your hand, and then once acknowledged, press *6 to unmute yourself. Is there any public comment?
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Breland.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm not sure if everyone can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. You can begin your public comment.
Okay, I'm calling in regards to the Penn market renovation. And I am asking and urging that City Council and the Mayor pass American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 with the funding that was received. I am a vendor there at the Penn Street Market. I own Michael's Low Country Kitchen and Bakery. And during the time since I've been there since late December, there has been an increase in foot traffic at the market. There has been a lot of customers coming in, and we're just hoping that we can continue to bring that market back to life because it's a mainstay of the city. And I would love to see that everyone in York City, as well as York County, would have an opportunity to avail themselves of being at the market and supporting the vendors that are there. And I thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Up next, we have Mr. Donald Haye.
Good evening, fellow city residents. Thank you for granting me the time to speak.
Good evening.
Before I launch into my main topic, I want to diverge for a moment and comment on Police Commissioner Muldrow. I feel the city is very fortunate to have filled the position with a man of intelligence, foresight, and dedication to his position. And that opinion is shared by everyone I've met and talked to. And I feel that it's important that he knows he has the admiration and support of the community. Now, my main topic, I have previously provided each of you with briefing papers to read and a documentary to look at entitled Kiss the Ground. I am sure you agree with me that the city has had several decades of a failed trash and recycling system. I, therefore, am asking that the council takes the initiative to form a committee comprised of some city council members, some members of the administration, and some community activists to study in depth the recycling and trash system and set 6 months as the latest date for submission of the recommendations to council for the enabling legislation and then to the administration for implementation. And one of the last things I want to say is it's come to my attention is a roiling consternation and conflict between the legislative and executive branches of our city. Each side is claiming victimization. However, the true victims of the soap opera is neither. The true victims are the constituents who hired you, pay you to make the conditions of their residency in our better. The voters want enlightened, unified leadership, and that requires unity of purpose. The alternative for the voters is to remove all non-team players. Thank you for your time. I appreciate your listening to me.
Thank you. Up next, we have Ms. Frost.
Good evening. My
Good
name
evening.
is Allison Frost. I am the York City Controller. I'm here this evening to bring to the attention of council and inquire about the posting of the York City Auditor position that falls under the York City Controller's office. As each of you know, the York City Auditor position was passed in the 2022 budget. And my office has done everything that has been asked of us as far as providing any information to business administration regarding this position. And that was actually done in 2021. Yet still here it stands in 2022, mid-February, where I've been unable to see any movement on the posting of this position. So that is my reason for being here today, to bring this forth to City Council in hopes of shedding some light on anything that might be going around or going on regarding the posting of this position.
Thank you.
I can speak now.
No, we'll wait till. Ms. Washington?
Yes, Vicki Washington, York City. Can you hear me?
Yes.
As a member of the ARPA advisory group, along with 11 others, I feel compelled to address the procedure of the group. First, we were guided by a survey taken by 600 residents. I know that some would like to dismiss the survey as only 600 residents, but I agree with Stephanie Seaton, who took the survey, who is active in our community and is qualified to represent the views of many in our community. Top priorities were violence, and I am happy to see council adopting the recommendations of our police chief. Homelessness, which was a top priority of our state representative, Carol Hill Evans, and a member of the advisory group, and stated that priority at a press conference, job training, youth programs. We must keep in mind that the reason we are receiving the money is recovering from the effects of the pandemic. Homelessness, food insecurity increased. We all remember the long lines at the food banks. Many nonprofits had to shut their doors and donations were down, as many didn't know when they would go back to work and held on to the money they had. The group discussed sustainability in making recommendations. Groups like LifePath and the Salvation Army have been long-term partners with the city, providing for services to the community, exactly who the money was designed to help. The group discussed infrastructure and decided to be prudent, as President Biden had just signed an infrastructure bill, and many of the infrastructure projects, including the Penn Street Market, could be funded through the money. We discussed increasing the money we have by partially funding applicants and reaching out to the philanthropical community asking for matching funds. It would be nice if we can grow the money we have to help our community. President Biden recently said he hopes cities are using some of their ARPA dollars to address violent crime. I hope we are also proactive in spending some of the money to address the core issue of poverty, which fuels crime. Senator Casey addressed some of the uses for the infrastructure money and has said that cities can use it for broadband. For decades, economic development has focused on downtown with no real benefit to the many who live here. Projects came with promises of uplifting the community through job creation, which never happened. 33% of the county's poverty lives along the Cadorus Creek. The median income is $26,000 a year. Our top-down approach for decades has not reduced poverty, created jobs, or uplifted people. The core problem that plagues the city is poverty. Some might want to push it in little corners and ignore it, but statistically, crime increases and schools fail when we don't address poverty. Maybe it is time for a new approach. We can put money in police programs, but if we don't have a strategy in place to uplift the people, we are destined to fail. That is exactly what the recommendations of the committee did. It recommended money to sustainable nonprofits that address the needs of the community, proven youth programs like Mike Smith, a successful job training program, job creation, and services to the community, along with funding the recommendations of our police chief. I am asking the council slow down, as infrastructure can be addressed with infrastructure money. We cannot address human needs and poverty with infrastructure money, but we can with ARPA money. If we don't address the core issue of poverty, as I have witnessed for decades, we cannot adequately address violence and failing schools, and we'll be sitting here in 10 years addressing the same issues. I thank council for taking my public comment.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
I wanted to let council know that Joan Maruskin, I sent you an email, but she wanted me to let you all know that she was still waiting for the responses to her questions from the last meeting.
Thank you. And just for the public, my apologies. At our last legislative meeting, I did forget to acknowledge that council did receive emails in regards to various topics for public comments. Our city clerk did mention that after the meeting, the session, public comment session was adjourned. It was mentioned, but I did not acknowledge it during the session. So just wanted to give my apologies in regards to that. We do receive your public comment if you email those situations or those topics, and we do read them, and they are entered for the record. Hearing no other public comment, we will adjourn the public comment session. And at this time, 6:14 p.m., I would like to call the legislative meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis,
Here.
Buckingham,
Here.
Rivera,
Here.
Washington,
Here.
Walker.
Here. And at this time, we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. At this time, we will take action on previous meeting minutes for February 1st, 2022. Are there any additions or corrections from council?
None.
Hearing none, all of those in favor of approving those minutes as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? They are approved. No proclamations or awards or announcements. Before we get into the legislative agenda, I just wanted to address an item that might be of concern. I've heard that the mayor is stating that agenda items were not reviewed by the solicitor and is somehow illegally placed on the agenda. I assume that would include all introductions of bills and resolutions. What the mayor is referencing is Article 115.1.01A of the codified ordinances, which states no ordinance or resolution shall be introduced unless reviewed by the city solicitor. The preliminary agenda was sent in on Thursday, so there was an extra day to review before the final agenda was sent out. On Friday, the agenda was emailed to all departments, including the solicitor's office, and that was through email, as well as the mayor, and our city clerk posted the agenda online. I would assume that our solicitor's office had ample time to look at all items and that the solicitor's office would have spoken up if there was any issues with any of those items. Assistant Solicitor, was there any issues? Did you have a chance to review the agenda?
I received the agenda that was sent out on Friday, yeah.
Did you have time to review it?
Yeah, we always review the agenda when it's sent out.
Okay, thank you. Per resolution number 215 of session 1969, also referred as Rule 215, reads as follows. Resolved by the Council of the City of York, Pennsylvania, that no resolution or legislative bill shall be considered by the council unless typewritten copies of the resolution or bill are delivered to the mayor and all members of council not later than the Saturday preceding the stated legislative council meeting. So that we may continue with the business of the city, I make a motion to waive the provisions of Article 115.01A of the codified ordinances to allow introduction of all legislation. Assistant Solicitor, I ask that you review these items after introduction and send an email to me and the city clerk with any concerns that may need to be addressed prior to council's March 1st meeting.
Is that a motion?
That is so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Just a reminder that our next legislative meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 1st, 2022 at 6:00 p.m. in council chambers. Agenda items are due by 12 noon on February 23rd, 2022. We will move on to the legislative agenda, starting with subdivision, land development, and HARB. A resolution by Councilwoman Washington. Oh, do I have the old agenda?
Oh, I think I have, I might have put your economic and community development at Queena, so that should be you.
Okay.
On there. I might have it wrong on the agenda, I apologize.
That's okay. So introduce.
And that is resolution number 15, introduced by Queen of Washington, whereas James R. Haye and Associates, on behalf of Anthony Shinsky, has submitted a preliminary final subdivision plan and preliminary final land development plan for 951 through 961 West College Avenue, and whereas the city has reviewed the plan and have recommended conditional approval, and whereas the plan is in accordance with the city's ordinances, and whereas the Planning Commission recommended conditional approval of the plan with various waivers, now therefore be it resolved that council hereby approves said plan.
Move to approve.
There a second?
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from council?
None.
Any questions or comments from the public? We have one. Mr. Holly?
Yes, this is Patty Fisher. Just if
Oh.
I am representing the plan in case you have any questions of me.
Thank you. Any questions from council?
None.
No.
No questions. Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll? Okay, we have another public comment.
My name is Anthony Shinsky, and I'm the owner of the property. And I just wanted to thank you for taking this under consideration and hoping that it gets approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Hello, my name is Blaine Simpson. I'm a resident in York City, and we've been having complaints with the trash guys throwing their containers in the truck.
Mr. Simpson, can you hold
Go
that
ahead.
for one moment? We have an item on the floor that we're dealing with right now, so we need to get that out of the way. Can you
Yes,
hold
ma'am.
on? All right, thank you so much. Is there any other public comment in regards to this resolution? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis.
Yes.
Buckingham.
Yes.
Rivera.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes, and that is so ordered. Now we'll move on to final passage of bills and resolutions. Final passage of Bill number 2, amending the financial year 2022 city budget.
Move for a vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
And that was Bill number 2, which was introduced by Betsy Buckingham at the February 1st meeting, amending the 2022 budget for the Bureau of Health for Public Health Emergency Preparedness Agreement in the amount of $759,081.66. The Bureau of Health for Epidemiology Laboratory Capacity Enhancement Detection Grant in the amount of $2,840,636.17. And business administration by appropriating expenditures for the Justice COVID-19 grant in the amount of $36,282.26. There has been a motion and a second.
Any questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Oh, I have a note right there too. I'm sorry. Council, there is a proposed amendment on page 2 of the document, and that is to amend the, in section 2, okay, there is the unemployment allocation, it ends, it's 26,413. As a matter of fact, there's an asterisk next to it. You can see the asterisk mark next to it. The corrected amount should be $215,894.09. The next asterisk should be next to medical supplies, and that should read $179,064.31. The other one is other supplies and materials. That should now read $334,172.78. And then going down to the next line, that should read, the total amount for indirect costs should be $409,480.19, with the total being $57,411.26. So I need a motion to accept those amendments.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. And that amendment passes. And now, if there wasn't any comment, public comment, I'll go for the vote.
Any public comment in regards to that amendment? We have one. I believe this is Mr. Simpson.
Yes.
Yes. Is this a comment that you were starting in regards to the trash?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you can hold on till we get through to the end of our agenda, we'll open up comment again for you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just didn't want to miss. Okay.
No, I didn't forget you. Please just hang
Okay.
on for a little bit.
All right, thanks.
Yes, thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis?
Yes.
Buckingham?
Yes.
Rivera.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Thank you, Kim, for reminding me of that.
And that is so ordered. Moving on to new business, we have introductions of bills. Just a reminder that these will sit until March 1st for all of the introductions. So up first, we have an introduction amending the CDBG COVID-19 budget.
So introduced.
Bill number 3, introduced by Queen of Washington, an ordinance amending the CDBG CV COVID-19 budget to reflect changes resulting in rollovers from the 2021 to 2022 fiscal budget year.
That will sit. Next, we have introduction of a bill amending the 2022 budget for upgrades to Vance and Williams Parks and solar lights at Penn Park.
So introduced.
And that is Bill number 4, introduced by Felicia Dennis, an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2022 budget for Parks and Recreation to fund upgrades at Vance and Williams Parks and installation of solar lights at Penn Park by appropriating expenditures from the ARPA funds in the amount of $285,000.
Again, that will sit until March 1st. Introduction of Bill number 5, amending the financial year 2022 budget.
Point of order, Madam President.
Thank you.
Madam President, I have a point of order pointing out violations of Rule Number 5, Section I and L of the Rules and Procedures of York City Council, as well as a potential violation of the Sunshine Act. The Rules and Procedures of York City Council were adopted by City Council on January 4th, 2022. To consider the nature of this violation, we must look at the approved procedure by which items appear on the York City Council agenda. Rule Number 5, Committees. L, Director's role. Number 1, the Director's role is to determine which items will appear on the committee agenda. However, currently, Council has suspended their committee meetings, so this is not applicable. Section 7, the Director or designee shall make all necessary, the Director or designee shall make all necessary amendments to items as approved by Council during the committee meeting and forward the amended version to the city clerk for inclusion on the designated legislative agenda. The council has currently suspended their committee meetings, so no amendments could have been moved and approved. The city council agenda for February 15, 2022 states that this item's originator was business administration/finance. Neither the business administrator nor any other director amended this agenda item. This is not the agenda item submitted by the business administrator. It has been altered by a third party and is represented as being submitted to and submitted by the administration. This is an absolute falsehood. In fact, any alteration of an item submitted by the administration outside of the public eye during a public meeting violates council's own rules and procedures, and I believe qualifies as a violation of the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. Rule number 5, section I. If a committee is unable to meet, the item will automatically appear on council's next legislative agenda and may be referred back to committee by a majority vote of council. Therefore, because there was no committee meeting, only the original version of this bill may be placed on the council agenda. Of course, this council has every right to amend this bill at the next session of council. But any alteration of the original text or removal of the original bill from the agenda is a violation of Rule number 5, sections I and L, and the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. Therefore, the original agenda item placing the amounts on this bill as $325,000 must be introduced today. Again, council has every right to amend this at their next meeting. And I do not dismiss council's ability to put whatever number in there that they want. But we cannot have one individual, or I don't know who met to make this decision, but we can't have individuals just altering things submitted to council and then saying that it came from the administration. This is a direct violation of council's own rules and the Sunshine Act. Thank you.
In regards to committee meetings, they were waived. We actually stopped committee meetings due to COVID. So anything in the past that was an introduction, we would essentially, according to what you're saying, be in violation. We'd have to go back and change all of those that were introduced
No, you just
over the
have to
past year and a half.
No, you just have to submit what has been submitted to you. And if council wants to change anything, they can change anything at their meetings in the eye of the public. You just can't change things in between the administration submitting them to the city clerk and your meeting. You can change anything you want to when you're in your meeting. I do not dispute that. But in this particular case, things were changed behind closed doors, and that is not part of the city council's process, nor, in my opinion, the Sunshine Act.
Nothing was changed behind closed doors, but council, I'll make a motion to waive the rule, number 5, section I. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm going to appeal.
All those in
I'm going to
favor?
appeal. I
All
have
of
the
those in
right under
favor?
Robert's Rules of Orders
All of
to
those
appeal
in
to the
favor,
council.
please say aye.
I have
Any
a right
opposed?
under the
Please say
Robert's
no.
Rules of Orders. You're now in violation of your own code's Robert's Rules of Order. I have a right to appeal to
The
council.
vote has already been called.
I have a right. Okay. This is how you're going to play. You are now in violation of Robert's Rules of Order. A point of order has the right to be appealed to the
Introduction
entire
of bill number, we're on bill number 5 or bill number 6?
No concern for actual rules.
So introduce.
I don't even remember.
This is introduction of bill number 6.
I think it's bill number 5, yeah, we didn't.
Oh, we didn't finish bill number 5? Introduction of bill number 5.
Okay.
Just, and I'm just, for clarity's sake, so, Mayor, what you're saying is the administration submitted that item at 325,000?
As per the original agenda that I have here, the item was submitted at 325,000. And somewhere along the line, it was changed by somebody else. Again, council has every right to amend it at their next meeting to 750,000 if they want to.
All right, so we'll make a motion to amend this number from 325,000 for ARPA funds for the Penn Market and Rex Laurel. So we're amending it. I'm making a motion to amend that from 325,000 to 750,000. Is there a second?
Since when do we amend bills at introduction?
It's public.
Second.
Any opposed? It is
Let
been,
me do a roll call on the amendment. So to amend the budget, to amend these figures from 325 for, as a matter of fact, how about, to amend the bill from 325,000 for Rex Laurel to 750,000. And another amendment, the same amendment is to amend the Penn Market renovation allocation from 325,000 to 750,000. So that motion was made by President Walker. It was seconded by Councilwoman Washington. And I'll call for the vote on that amendment. Dennis?
Yes.
Buckingham?
Yes.
Rivera? Yes. Washington?
Yes.
Walker?
yes.
All right, so the So it has been amended, and I believe, has it been introduced? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So that's Bill number 5, introduced by Queen of Washington, an ordinance amending fiscal year 2022 budget as follows. York City Fire Department to fund Rex Laurel Fire Station renovations by appropriating expenditure from the ARPA funds in the amount of $750,000, and Community and Economic Development to fund Penn Street Market renovations by appropriating revenue and expenditures from ARPA funds in the amount of $750,000.
That will sit until March 1st. We'll move on to introduction of bill number 6, amending the 2021 budget for environmental services.
So introduce.
And that is bill number 6, introduced by Felicia Dennis. An ordinance approving the transfer of funds in the fiscal year 2021 budget for, is that right, Kim, 2021, for agenda item number 6? Okay. Approving the transfer of funds in the 2021 budget for environmental services and making appropriation for money not otherwise appropriated in the combined amount of $134,345.55 to fund the remaining refuse disposal costs for 2021.
That will sit until March 1st. Moving on to introduction of bill number 7, another amendment for the 2022 budget.
So introduce.
That is bill number 7, introduced by Queen of Washington. And that is a bill amending the fiscal year 2022 budget for community and economic development to fund an annual principal and interest payment on the Crispus Attucks loan per a memorandum of understanding by appropriating revenues and expenditures in the amount of $31,500.
That will sit until March 1st. Introduction of bill number 8, appropriation of money not otherwise appropriated.
So introduce.
And that's bill number 8, introduced by Queen of Washington. And that is an ordinance making an appropriation for money not otherwise appropriated in the amount of $23,770 to fund payment of the 2021 annual payment to Volunteer Firemen's Insurance Services for the Length of Service Award Program for our volunteer firefighters.
And that will sit until March 1st. Up next, we have a resolution recognizing Black History Month, and that is so introduced.
Okay, is there a motion to introduce by short title? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. All right, just give me 1 second to catch up here, folks. And it's a resolution recognizing Black History Month in the City of York and the 2022 theme of Black History Health and Wellness by highlighting achievements and barriers broken by Black physicians in America. And I would encourage people to read this online, resolution number 16, agenda item number 9, because there are some really great things that some of our Black leaders have done in the past that I think are very, very noteworthy.
Thank you. Move to approve.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from the public? Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis?
Yes.
Buckingham?
Yes.
Rivera?
Yes.
Washington?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes. That's so ordered. Up next, we have a resolution reappointing Eric Menser to the York Business Improvement District Authority.
All right, 16, that was 16. Give me just 1 second, I think I misnumbered these. Okay, this will be resolution number 17. Resolution number 17, introduced by Lou Rivera. Be it resolved that council hereby consents to the reappointment made by the mayor of Eric Menser as a member of the York Business Improvement District Authority, also known as Downtown Inc., to serve in said capacity until January 1st, 2027.
Is there a second? Second. Has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from council? No. Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham,
Yes.
Rivera,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes. And that is so ordered. And Mr. Menser, if you're watching, thank you for your service. Moving on to resolution number 18.
So introduced.
Resolution number 18, introduced by Queen of Washington. Whereas the police department has 9 vacancies for the position of probationary police officer, and whereas the Civil Service Board eligibility list reflects the following individuals are eligible for appointment as probationary police officers: Jacob Harris, Zachary Beasley, Kimberly Ortega, Bridget Wilson, Matthew Burke, Frederick Lucas, Augustine Mariche? Sorry, I messed up your name, Augustine. Mariche. Alex Raffensperger, and Lim Cash. And whereas several conditions must be met, now therefore be it resolved, council hereby approves the appointment of said officers.
Move for vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from council?
None.
Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham,
Yes.
Rivera, Washington.
Yes.
Walker? Yes. And that is so ordered. Moving on to resolution number 19, adopting and submitting to the DEP the Act 537 plan update.
So introduced.
Is there a motion to read by short title? Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Resolution number 19, introduced by Felicia Dennis, a resolution adopting and submitting to the Department of Environmental Protection for its approval the Act 537 Plan Update Special Study as an update to the city's official plan. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from the public? Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Oh, you got one hand.
We got one
set.
hand. Mr. Haye? Mr. Haye? Please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
I have the following comment to make. Today's public demonstration of animus and disrespect by both parties.
Mr. Haye, we have a resolution. Is this in regards to the DEP?
Whatever. This is relating to the procedure that just took place.
But we have a resolution right now. Is this in relation to that?
It is.
Okay. Proceed.
The animus and disrespect by both parties is intolerable, whatever the merit of the arguments. Please comport yourselves as adults and abandon the childish behaviors. The business of the city deserves better handling. Respect can be present even when the disagreements are large. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham,
Yes.
Rivera, Washington,
Yes.
Dennis, Walker.
Yes. That is so ordered. Moving on to resolution number 20, authorizing various budget transfers.
So introduced.
Is there a motion to introduce by short title?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Resolution number 21, introduced by Betsy Buckingham, a resolution approving transfers of funds in the fiscal year 2021 budget as follows. Or should that be 2022, Kim? Okay, all right. Permits and inspection to fund a final attorney fees for 2021 by transferring a total of $2,757.84. The police department to fund final expenses for clothing and uniform, tuition reimbursement, and an MDC quarterly lease and laptop to York County by transferring a total of $10,482.37. Information technology to fund final software maintenance and data processing equipment by transferring $2,120.52. Building and electrical to fund final bills for electric traffic signals by transferring $3,767. Public Works to fund final water bills by transferring $708.78. Public Works for Pennsylvania Avenue Bridge paving and repairs to Poorhouse Run, transferring $87,288.50. And Public Works for transferring to cement, concrete, stone, in the amount of $628.74.
Move for a vote.
Is there a second? Any questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from the public? Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham,
Yes.
Rivera, Washington,
Yes.
Walker.
Yes. That is so ordered. Up next, we have a resolution waiving Article 165.02.
So introduced.
Is there a motion to read by short title?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. And that is resolution number 21, introduced by Queen of Washington, a resolution waiving the contract interest, conflict of interest requirement of Article 165.02 for contracts and actions relating to the position of Emergency Preparedness Community Health Specialist in the York City Health Bureau.
Move to approve.
Has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from council?
None.
Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham,
Yes.
Rivera, Washington,
Yes.
Walker.
Yes. That is so ordered. Up next, we have a resolution extending the declaration of disaster emergency to March 31st, 2022.
So introduced.
Resolution 22, introduced by Betsy Buckingham. Now therefore be it resolved, the Council of City of York, that council hereby extends the declaration of disaster emergency for the City of York until March 31st, 2022.
Move to approve.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from the public? Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis?
Yes.
Buckingham?
Yes.
Rivera? Washington?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes. That is so ordered. Is there a motion to waive Rule 215 for our supplemental agenda?
I make a motion to waive.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will move into our supplemental agenda. First, we have an introduction of a bill amending the financial year 2022 budget for the York City Police Department.
So introduced.
That is a bill. It's being introduced. It will sit until March 1st.
Wait a minute, which one, supplemental? I think I put the police one, the resolution, I think I put that one first. Okay, yeah, I messed that one up in my book here. All right, so that was bill number 9. Okay, the PCCD one. Okay, all right. That shouldn't be bill number. Give me just 1 second, folks. I believe that's bill number 9.
What's the ending on?
Yep, that'd be bill number 9. And that is a bill introduced by Queen of Washington amending the 2022 budget for the Police Cadet Program, GVI Credible Messenger, and Second GVI Street Team, the Shot Spotter Trauma Informed Care Program, Small Unnamed Aircraft System Program, Building Rehab Reprogram, York Initiative, Telepolicing Program, and Victim Notification Follow-Up Officer Satisfaction Program by appropriating expenditures for ARPA funds in the amount of $2,702,641.83.
Thank you. Moving on to introduction of Bill 10. Another amendment for the financial year 2022 budget.
So introduced.
And that is bill number 10, introduced by Betsy Buckingham, an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2022 budget for business administration to fund other professional services costs for administration, management, and auditing services for the American Rescue Plan Act monies by appropriating expenditures from ARPA funds in the amount of $170,000.
Introduction, again, sits until March 1st. Up next, we have a resolution authorizing various budget transfers.
So introduced.
Okay. Budget transfers, hold on 1 second. Control pass, okay, that's resolution number 20, that should be resolution 23. All right. Is there a motion to introduce by short title?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, yes?
Yes.
Opposed, no. And that is resolution number 23, introduced by Queen of Washington. A resolution approving a transfer of funds in the 2022 budget council to fund other professional services by transferring a total of $6,000. Health Bureau to comply with an approved budget shift of Family Health Council grant funds by transferring $28,630.02.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham.
Yes.
Rivera, Washington.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes. That is so ordered. Moving on to resolution number 24, authorizing the mayor and the controller to sign a pass-through contract agreement.
So introduced.
Resolution number 24, introduced by Queen of Washington, whereas the County of York has made or will make application to PCCD for a subgrant of state budget allocations of Federal American Rescue Plan funds for Violence Intervention and Prevention Program, and whereas the subgrantee, the County of York, wants to contract with the City Police Department to provide juvenile engagement officer for their VIP program, and whereas a consideration for the rendering of services, the County of York shall pay to the city out of subgrant funds the sum not to exceed $246,000, and whereas pass-through contract agreement has been drafted by the county and present to the city of York to sign. Oh, presented, I'll change that. Presented to the city of York to sign. Now therefore be it resolved that the city of York County hereby designates Michael Hoffrick and Alice Ann Frost as the officials to execute all documents and agreements between the city of York and York County regarding PCC subgrantee pass-through contract agreement.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from council?
None.
Any questions or comments from the public? Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham,
Yes.
Rivera, Washington.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes. And that is so ordered. Mr. Simpson, are you still in the room? Mr. Simpson? Just want to make sure. I don't know if we could see him on, is he on the participants list? He's on there?
He doesn't see him.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for your patience, Mr. Simpson. Are there any requests for future meetings? No requests for future meetings? Council comment? No comment from council? Administration comment?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. First, I'm surprised, Jason, you didn't announce Restaurant Week this week, the 18th through the 27th, actually more than a week, 10 days of 10 days of great food here all across the city of York. Wanted to start with something light there. Controller Frost, I want to let you know that, as you know, the business administration folks are juggling a lot of things right now. We are down a business administrator, and we are still looking for applicants and interviewing applicants for business administration. However, we are also waiting for positions to be advertised and for people to fill those positions. We have, I believe, right now, close to 18 positions open for the city of York, and so we would love, particularly city residents, to get online at yorkcity.org and apply for those positions. We will have more positions coming out soon, including your position. So it's not just the controller's office. Some of us are waiting for other positions to come out also, and the fact is, between things like Kronos and getting budget amendments ready and or budget submissions ready and all sorts of stuff, we just have not had the capacity to complete everything in a timely fashion, and we're all working on this together. So we will consider this your top priority. I have been giving priority lists to the different directors, and that's how we are moving forward in a time when many of us are understaffed in our departments, and we are just trying to get as much done as possible. I want to address Mr. Haye. First, let me say that at no time that I know of has government been something called unity. Government is an election of different representatives with different opinions and different minds, and they have to publicly debate things. I do not disagree that I wish things were better, but at the same time, there are fundamental differences of opinions that must be debated. As you heard from former Councilwoman Vicki Washington, there are those like her and myself who strongly believe in our hearts, with all of our passion, that the American Rescue Plan money is very specifically meant to uplift people in our community. As per President Biden, they are meant to uplift those disproportionately affected by the impacts of COVID in our minority communities. So these are things like job training programs, things like care for children, reentry programs, all these things that address people. And That is our top priority, as put forward by some of the council members in comments that I saw, spending on the city's infrastructure, and that is not, that is a difference of opinion. It's not any kind of thing that we can't get past. It's a matter, in my opinion, it's a matter of which pot of money we spend from. Because there's an infrastructure bill coming, there's wastewater treatment plant money coming, but as pointed out by Vicki Washington, those things cannot be invested in our children. Those things cannot be invested in our families. So we have differences of opinions, and we are trying our best to work them out. I was certainly surprised in December by the opinions of council, and then council came back and gave their opinions, and now we're working on it. We passed, or at least we submitted, over $4 million, and I want to thank council very much, particularly for the police commissioner's submission, $2.7 million. So that's more than we had in our initial investment in fighting homicides and crime here in the city. I want to thank city council for that. So we are working through things. In this meeting, we addressed nearly as much money as I had in the entire 2022 budget submission. So we are moving forward. It's not, but I must say we got the easiest pieces done first. And with this stuff with the RACP grants, we disagree in the amount of money that should be put in, but none of us, at least not Councilwoman Buckingham or Council President Walker that I met with, none of us disagree that these things should get done. We only disagree right now on how they should get done. And finally, let me just say that for me, process is extremely important. I know over the last month there was some question about me following process with the oath of office. But again, I consulted our legal experts and followed their advice. So for me, it wasn't that I didn't follow a process. I followed the exact process laid out by our legal experts. Today, we had an issue where I still don't believe, and there will be further research into this, I don't believe that the city council followed the proper process, and then when I appealed, did not follow Robert's Rules of Order, which allows for a concerned member of the group to appeal the decision of the lead person in the group for a decision to be made among the entire body. That's Robert's Rules of Order. That's what I was looking for, and that is why I was not willing to back down on that, because that is the process. So sometimes you are going to find, whether it's me or whether it's a council member or the controller or treasurer, you're going to find us standing up for things that we believe are the way things should be, whether it's opinions on a bill or it's opinions on process. So I would encourage everyone to look at all of the things that we agree on, because we agree on 95, 96, 98% of the things that go through this city council. It goes through smoothly and you never hear anything about it. But the things that we disagree on, we might be passionate about. And I think the community is lucky that we are passionate. Those that support the different opinions of the council members are lucky that they are passionate. Those that support my opinions are lucky that I am passionate. Do you want just somebody up here that's just going to roll over or just agree for the sake of agreement? I don't think we really do. That's not how a great community is built. A great community is built through some friction that builds and turns a piece of coal into a diamond, turns a dull piece of steel into a sharp blade. That's how great things are made, and I hope that the community can see that we are making progress, even though we are going to be struggling through our deep differences in philosophy. You know, the hardest time sometimes is not when you're poor. Sometimes the hardest thing is when a whole bunch of money comes in, because now you got a lot of decisions to make, and you didn't have money before. And that's where we are right now. We're just trying to figure this out. And I hope we can all remain sensible and passionate at the same time. And I hope that the community understands and accepts that government is, they don't call it sausage making for nothing. We have to go through a lot of stuff to come out with something good at the end. And sometimes you only see a couple minutes of bad when there's a whole lot of good going on. And I want to thank council for their work.
Thank you. In regards to the questions from Ms. Maruskin, I think there was another question of the who, what, where, whens, and whys, a timeline. So I just wanted to briefly go over what has been done so far. Some of the points the mayor was just talking about. So going back to January 1st, the beginning of the year, 30-day action plan, January 1st to January 31st. The goal was basically for council members to become informed about ARPA, individually share priorities, thoughts, and recommendations. There was an ARPA informational session the first week of January 2022. On January 6th, the Department of Treasury released the final interim rule. Throughout the month of January, council members individually became familiar with ARPA and individually submitted priorities, discussed with department heads, internal employees, just to get familiar with ARPA. Council President attended the virtual ARPA final rule presentation hosted by the Pennsylvania Municipal League on January 31st, 2022. Our ARPA recovery recommendation plan draft was completed the last week of January. We included internal recommendations from past discussions with the mayor, an essential employee bonus, as well as a $2 million expense category to assist nonprofits and small businesses. February 1st, 2022, the ARPA recovery recommendation plan was presented to the public. Going on to 60-day action plans, the goal up until March 1st, begin taking actions on low-hanging fruit, items that are deemed a priority and/or items that administration and council can agree upon. Throughout this month of February, there will be discussions, input, and guidance. So we thank everyone for all of their questions and their comments, and we'll try to answer you as soon as possible, given our schedules. February 3rd, 2022, there was a meeting with a meeting request sent by our city clerk on behalf of Council President to discuss ARPA recommendations with the city solicitor and Mayor Helfrich. On February 10th, 2022, Councilwoman Buckingham, City Clerk Thompson, Mayor Helfrich, and City Solicitor Sable and myself were in attendance, and this meeting, I believe, was productive. There were things that we agreed upon. There were things that we did not agree upon. It is my understanding that we will continue these discussions. And as long as discussions are productive, there is no need for a mediator. On February 3rd, I also met with Commissioner Muldrow, Director Watson, Director Green, with the permission of the mayor, to discuss communications and updates on ARPA and the recommendation plan. The departments will give council liaisons detail in regards to their internal applications, which was a pure example of what happened with the police department. Commissioner Muldrow submitted that information, and as you can see, that was on the agenda as an introduction. Action priorities from February up until April. ARPA administration with a grant and a project manager, Rex Laurel, Penn Market, Police Department proposal. Please continue to check the York City Council page on the York City website to see updates on the fluid document. 90 to 180-day action plan to take place by July 1st. ARPA administrator and project managers will be brought on board to report and work directly with the grant coordinators and special projects coordinator. And we hope that these three key positions will work together to handle over the 150 plus applications, input from the ARPA committee, input from the ARPA recovery recommendation plan, which again is a fluid document, administration input, internal department input, to make sure that the City of York ARPA process is properly managed and that we are in compliance. There are still more questions that will be addressed in the near future. As stated in the ARPA Recommendation Recovery Plan, we encourage the community to continue to become involved and engaged in this process. We look forward to hearing from you and will address as many questions as possible within reasonable timeframes given the schedules of all parties involved. Thank you all for your input. We appreciate it. At this time, this meeting is adjourned.